Attention duelists! Welcome to the latest installment in the Selection Pack Progression Series, wherein I and Cross Chris go head to head with the latest and greatest from the newest selection packs, using cards that came out with new archetypes or to support old archetypes, and seeing which one of us is better. And this one, we are going to be having a mirror match, which I think we've done with one of these before, because both of us are playing Purrely.
Why wouldn't we? They're just so stinking cute.
Well, diversity for the viewers.
Fair enough.
I probably could have whipped up a Galaxy Eyes thing, but no.
We'll talk about that in post.
Right. So,
All right.
that's in the post. I'm going to hit begin duel. Hey, nice rank.
Yeah, I've been distracted with other stuff of late, so I haven't been on Master Duel too much. I'm sorry to say.
Excuses.
Yeah. I will be starting things off. I feel like your field is much more fitting.
Well, if only someone, was able to get gems and could buy these accessories.
Yeah, if only. Okay. So how we're going to start, I'll go ahead and activate the field spell.
I'm going to fire off Maxi right now.
Oh no! That makes that decision a lot easier. Go ahead and Ash Blossom the Maxi. And in addition, I am going to chain Happy Memories. So, in chaining Happy Memories, I'm going to target my Purrely Street. It can't be destroyed this turn. That is not what I'm interested in it for. I'm going to go ahead and discard Called by Then to go ahead and special summon the OG Purrely.
I hope you miss.
I hope I don't. That's something. Decisions. Not gonna lie, this is a bit of a mediocre start off, so.
Yeah, you used Ash Blossom and discarded Called By, which means you have one of those two also in your hand, probably.
It could be.
So you're playing off of one card, which is Pretty Memory, and Beauty is probably the least helpful Pirelli.
Unfortunately, you are correct. At least in the mirror match, I would say. But it's what I've got. Do I want to bring out another? Oh, why not?
Oh, Maxi.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and use the effect of Purrely. Activate the effect of my friend. Gonna go in. Which one are you gonna pick?
I'm going to go with the one on the left. I'm bonkers at the cup game. Got eyes like a fly.
That sounds like a problem.
Nah, man, it's great. I can see all sorts of directions. I can find trash.
Kind of cool, actually. So we're going to target Delicious Memory. Go ahead and get Lechonk out. Activate the effect of Plump. We're going to attach to it both Happy Memory and Pretty. And at that, I am going to end my turn.
Not bad for a little duckling.
Nope. And then using Stray Street at the end of turn, I'm going to go ahead and attach Sleepy from my deck to it. Let's see if you can pop off just a little better than me.
Don't know about
That's
pop
it.
off, but I can break your board.
Oh no!
All right, start activating my street. Gonna summon my Purrely. Pick a gander at what's on top. Add that. Put those back. Now let's deduce how to get the juice loose.
That sounds like a personal problem.
I'm going to do it like this. Show you that I have Purrely. Gonna equip a thing to it. Do not chain activate, the mistake I always make. Gonna show
Yeah, I
you
did that.
Pretty Memory.
Mhm.
And I'm going to summon Beauty. Gonna use the effect of. Oh, right, that's an option.
What's that?
I'm remembering different things. And oh, that's gonna vex you deeply. I'm gonna start activating Purrely Beauty's effect. Negate your effect. I know you're sitting on its thing to pull more spells to it. There it is.
May as well go ahead and activate it.
Gonna turn that off. Options. Activate Sleepy Memory. Chain Purrely Beauty. Will attach Sleepy to itself. You can go to attack mode.
Oh no!
I'm going to discard this because this isn't helping me right now.
Nope.
And we'll summon a little baby. Little
He
baby
does
thing will
his
go
thing.
off.
Mm-hmm.
Going to get me
Your friend Purrely.
my friend Purrely. I'll then activate my friend Purrely.
I can only guess what way we're going with this one.
Activate my friend. Hmm.
You really have to think about it?
Yeah. Uh. Hmm. You know what? We're gonna put a little bit of this in Fate's hands for a leap and 2 sleepy memories.
Really?
Okay. Activate a Delicious.
Ah, there we go.
Gonna target my own Purrely. I am. Yeah, let's discard Sleepy. Summon another baby. Baby effect. And I got a hit that I wanted. Send these away. Use the effect of the pretty memory on Beauty. Send away my street. Take yours.
Aww.
I'll reactivate the street I just added. Use the effect of
Purrely.
turning it into my own Purrely Plump.
Mm-hmm.
Move to battle. Gonna do a big punch on that. That's new.
What was that?
I had the connection issues thing floating over your icon.
Well, I am out in the stick, so you
Yeah.
know. We're gonna go ahead and add. We'll go ahead with Happy Memory.
Gonna activate Plump's effect. I'm gonna take some of your memories. Now it's a big baby. All right, can't be destroyed.
Yep. Forgot about that.
In phase 2.
Classic Yu-Gi-Oh blunder.
Oh, this is very funny. I'm gonna turn Purrely into Relinquished Anima. And what the heck?
What?
I can't target your Purrely.
Yeah.
Right,
Stray
Street.
Street. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Another classic Yu-Gi-Oh blunder.
let's not dwell on that. Well, in that case, let's go ahead and turn Beauty into Downerd. And Downerd into Zeus. And I'll end. Gray Street, target Plump. And I'm going to put another sleepy memory on it. Plump will fire off immediately. I will grab some of your stuff. All right.
Can go ahead and discard Delicious Memory. Special summon.
Very
Activate
chunky,
the
baby.
Yep. Man, I got one option.
I'm going to use Plump's effect from sleep. Draw a
Mm-hmm.
card. I'm going to use Plump's effect from sleep. Draw a card. And hey, wouldn't you know what it is? I'm going to use Plump's effect from sleep to draw a third card. And just to double check this, you added from. I got you, my friend. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and activate the effect of my friend Purrely.
I'm going to fire Zeus. To detach some monsters. And we're going to see what you can do with one card. I'm going to fire Zeus again.
Yeah.
Draw your last pathetic card.
Activate.
I don't know if you'll still be able to do the search on that, but I'm just going to fire Zeus again. And I think it's my turn now.
Yeah.
That's not helpful. All right. Gonna activate my friend. The effect of my friend. And I'm going to look at some babies. Summon the baby I just got. That will add the happiest of memories. Put the other two back. Activate this happy memory. Target that. Use it. Discard the happy memory I already had. Summon another baby. Baby effect. Grab the street. Activate the street. Baby effect. Targeting a delicious memory. Turn into my second Purrely Plump. Purrely effect. And not the most optimal, but all right, I forgot. I don't have to take mine, I can take yours. I'll take both of your delicious memories. Gonna turn that baby into a Linkaribo. Use to attack. Set a card. Battle. Start swinging. And Stray Street will target a Purrely and put a Sleepy Memory on it. Now draw your last pathetic card. Effect of Sleep on Plump. I'll chain Plump's own effect. Looking at all of our graves. That. And that. 2 more sleeps. That means both of those sleeps can trigger during the standby phase as well. And I think I'm safe in saying this is pretty much Jover.
Swing away.
That will target Plump. And I don't think he's plump enough, so we'll put another delicious memory on him. And this is just for the comedy. I'm going to activate a delicious memory using Plump's effect to attach it. Will not banish a card. Will not use the other effect. Plump needs more. Feed the baby. Put 2 happy memories on it. And because this deck has a boss monster, I may as well. Happiness. This is Battle Fate. I'm going to be really upset. I will swing. It will burn. And 15,700 damage.
That is a lot of damage.
And round 1 goes to me, which means you will be starting round 2.
Incorrect, you are.
Okay.
Couldn't help but notice that in the mirror, it kind of seems to work in the favor of whomever's going second.
That's where you're wrong.
Oh.
Whoever is going against me loses.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell.
Not good, eh?
Yeah, man, we keep it 100 over here. I'm going to... The Ordar. My Frond.
Maxi.
Fair.
Let's see how far we get here.
Okay. Activate my frond. Yeah. Sleepy, sleepy, and yeep.
It even lets me choose when they're all face down, anyways.
Well, my friend probably says you pick one at random.
That's fair. Effect Veiler.
I will activate a delicious. And yes, and I'm going to discard my effect veiler. I'm in vanilla. Effect. Take a look. It's in a book. That sucks. This has gone all Costa Rica.
You've never been to Costa Rica.
No, but I have listened to Danger Days a lot.
That's fair.
Gonna make a Purrely plump. Activate the effect. Put one card on myself. That one. Yeah, this feels wrong, but I'll do it anyway. I'll turn Purrely into Linkaribo. I will pass.
All right. Let's see. Drawn for turn. Where do I want to start? Go ahead and activate my friend.
I only frond.
What was that?
Blink 182.
Right. Go ahead and activate. So your choices are delicious, delicious, and delicious.
I don't think that baby should be having that much guacamole.
I think you need to stop being a mom for a second. All right. So from there, activate delicious. Just because I don't think it's gonna matter.
Everything
We'll choose
matters.
you.
No, my baby.
So good news, your Linkaribo is going to be fine.
I can still punch him. Got a very punchable face.
That is true.
I know that, baby. I will use Plump's effect. I'm going to take those. Can't beat this, baby.
here. We're going to add. Go ahead and activate Stray Street. Summon out the OG Purrely.
Don't worry about why I'm being prompted.
I know why you're being prompted.
No, you don't. You've never played this game before.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Another Frond.
Go ahead and activate Happy Memory. We're going to keep the street safe. Discard the second copy of My Friend Purrely. Bring out another.
I think it's weird that only one Purrely isn't a once per turn.
Nah, it's fine.
Well, you have an option from that. There it is.
You're not wrong. Go ahead and activate another Happy Memory. This time.
When do we
You
get
get to
Purrely
be
therapy?
when we get Purrely money. In this instance, I think draw and lock is what I want. Yes. There. Try this one more time.
Desperately want to know what you're trying to get. Hey, a Droll and Lock, you need one of those.
Right?
Are you trying to get another delicious memory because I took the last one?
As a matter of fact, yes. Let's see here. There's a right way to go about this, and then there's a funny way to go about this.
I'm a big fan of jokes.
Ba, 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 ba. Let's try it this way.
Hey, funny bird.
Yep. I'll just call him Fusho, because God help me if I try to pronounce the first part of his name.
Ike Nagashi.
Thank you. There we go. Kiki sounds like a nicer name. So go ahead and use Kiki.
I'll allow it.
Alright. Main 2.
That's going to be the smallest. No, downer than Zeus.
Uh-huh.
Still a very small Zeus.
You're not wrong, but I think I can work with it.
I'm going to activate Yeep.
Alright.
Big baby.
See here. Alright, so just double checking. Okay. Checking my graveyard to see what my best option is here. Yes. Go ahead and activate Delicious.
I will allow you to remember food.
Thank you. And then I will discard that.
The bold move, having squandered all of your my friend Purrely's.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
Not do that.
Fair. Target that delicious memory there.
Why'd you summon the second Purrely?
Because I thought.
Because it's both of its effects are once per turn.
You're right. That was a misplay on my part.
Yeah, it's the only. Well, I say only. There's two of them. It's the one that can only be once per turn.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't want to target my E because I'll just activate it and you won't be able to use it.
Yeah. Last but not least.
Another one?
Yeah, why not?
Do you have Sylvan Princess Sprite?
No. Why does she work well with this?
You can detach it from her and excavate the top card if it's a spell or trap at it.
Hmm. We are going to attach. Hmm.
Not what I wanted to see off the top.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm going to activate my friend.
Hmm.
Will you permit me this action? I will show you this handful of babies I found. I can work with that. First, let's just get the problem out of the way. Coming at you, Cleopatra. Pardon?
I had activated Delicious Memory targeting Zeus.
Ah,
You gonna be okay there?
I can work with this.
All right.
Summon a baby. Okay. That. I'm gonna put a little bit.
Sounds like a personal problem right there.
It's a purr problem. I'm going to do something very funny and everyone will laugh.
All right.
I'm going to summon Zeus.
Hmm.
Now you gotta ask yourself, who's going to pull the trigger first?
Hmm.
And the answer is it doesn't matter. I'm going to detach 2 to fire Zeus.
And I, in turn, will have to activate mine.
Gonna activate that face down.
Do I want to? Yeah, why not?
Oh no.
We're gonna go ahead and get rid of you.
My son! Just gotta think it's funny. I'm gonna fire Zeus again.
Fair enough.
You're being prompted by,
Well,
well,
yep.
Purrely and Kiki. Does it really matter what you choose?
No, we're just dragging this out as long as we can.
Yeah, we are firing again. That would be great if they put me in a Gundam. Okay. Well, I'm going to use Purrely, and I'm going to send these all back into the deck. And now it's your turn.
All right.
What? I just heard like a burst of static.
That was me laughing at what I drew.
Well, here we are again, the lot of us.
Yeah.
Two
Pass
houses
turn.
of equal something in Fair Verona. Damn it!
That good, eh?
The stupid is compounding. Gonna summon a baby. Hold off on that. So we'll add the designated card to my hand. That gets me that. Things. And then I am in motion. Add pretty memory.
Mhm.
Let this stuff go away. Stop being prompted by your bird. Activate pretty memory.
All right.
I'm gonna discard the Maxi I just drew. Summon Purpa Derpa Baby. Purrely. Purple Ellie. You know the bit I'm going for.
Yes, I do.
Grimace Shake. That baby is going to get me my Frond. Activate. Use the effect of my friend. Yeah, that's what we need. Sleepy Memories. Use Purrely's effect. Target Delicious. Make a plump baby. Can you fire off the bird so I stop being annoyed waiting for it?
Nope.
All right, well, fine. Then I'm going to take all your food memories.
Okay.
I'm going to use Sleepy Memory. Just so Purrely Plump can attach it to itself and be at 5. Oh, will not banish a card. Well, here we are again. Right, that's what's prompting. All right. Battle. Baby Purrely.
I do that, then you have your own little quick effect there.
I mean, I do. It just wouldn't help. Do this because I'm mad at the bird. Pass turn. I hate that board. EP mode. Get me a card. That doesn't help. No. Just drew that, didn't you?
No, that was last turn when the board was empty.
Oh, it's funny too.
Yeah, that's why I did the thing that sounded like static.
Really impressive. You got to sound like static the second time too.
It's years of practice.
Oh man, are you the guy behind the white noise on the TV? I love your work.
Yep. Thank you. I'm glad someone appreciates what I do. It's a thankless job.
I'd appreciate it more if you played a card. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Not helpful. That'd be funny, but I'm not doing that. Battle. Punch. Battle. Punch. Seto. Pass. EP mode. Get me a card. Hey, upsides.
Sleepy memory.
Why wouldn't you save that for next turn?
Because I need to get something going here.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, a street. Oh, look at the baby. Anyway, that's not going to be resolving.
Yeah.
You want to go into anima?
No, I actually never crafted one.
Huh. Nice to have one.
Picking up on that.
Going to use Purrely. For a Lily. Going to show Pretty Memory. Turn into Beauty. Battle. Beauty Punch. Noir Punch. Victory for Phoenix.
Yeah. That said, you did get 2-0 right there, and because we have a mirror match, kind of feel like a round 3 would be moot to show off the decks.
Then in that case, do you want to move right into
Right.
our actual deck lists and the differences we have?
If you're fine with that, I'm game.
I am too, because this means I've won 2 in a row. You're falling behind.
Yeah. Life goes on.
Yeah. All right. Our decks are probably pretty similar, so I'm not going to bother making a whole new list for yours versus mine.
Right. Let me just go back into deck edit real quick. And I'll just list off card names, not card numbers per se.
Yeah, because I think I know what the difference in our deck is actually going to be.
All right.
At least the main deck.
Right. Non-Purrely cards in the main deck: Effect Veiler, Droll and Lock, Maxi, Ash Blossom, Feather Duster, Triple Tactics, Called by, Infinite Impermanence, and then we have all the Purrely stuff: Purrely, Lily,
Three
two
ups for
copies
every
of,
Purrely card.
with the exception of Street. Street I only have two copies of,
Oh, that's another
and
difference between
actually,
us.
and I only have one copy of Yeep.
I also run one Yeep.
All right. Then extra deck, three copies of all of the super rares, with the exception of Happiness. Actually, hold up. Let me see here. Excuse me. Let me correct myself real quick. Two Happiness, three Beauty, two Plump, uh, two X Happiness, and two X Noir. And then I have the two Geeky Birds, one Downard, and one Zeus.
All right.
And then what have you got for us here?
So mine and things that are the same as yours, I'm also running Effect Veilers. I'm not running Droll and Lock. In place of it, I have Nibiru. I do not have Feather Duster, and I do not have Imperm.
Hmm. Why don't you run Imperm?
Because I'm running three Effect Veilers.
Fair enough. But you can only activate one effect failure. Wait, is it once per turn?
No.
Oh, you're right. But it can be called by. Imperm cannot.
True. But I also run Nibiru, because I was running Droll and Lock also at first,
Mm-hmm.
but after the amount of situations where it came up where I'd end up Droll and Locking myself after having a Max C resolve, it
Mm-hmm.
kind of felt annoying to not be able to use Max C.
I have to say, the funny thing though is in the early game, I kind of feel like hand traps are more fuel for the engine to get the Purelles going until you have enough of a well, hand then that you can start discarding stuff just to get Purelli's effect off.
Yeah.
Using stuff in the grave, that is.
Yeah. So in the extra deck, I'm running two of each of the super rares, Happiness, Beauty, and Plump. I
Mm-hmm.
have one Expirelli Happiness, two Noirs. I have Slacker Magician, Sylvan Princess Sprite, Downard
Mm-hmm.
Magician, and Zeus. And I also have Linkaribo and Relinquished Anima.
Okay. Let's see. Linkaribo, that was not a bad call there. Same with Anima. Why do you run Slacker?
Because she is also a rank 1, but you do not, once per turn, cannot be destroyed by battle. So she can attack into things and then turn to Downard and then go to Zeus with an extra shot in him.
Okay. That's fair.
Also, she's 2100 defense. I think she. During either player's turn, when a card effect is activated that targets this face up card, you can attach material, negate, and destroy it. So there's a bit more versatility in that could come up.
That's fair. I was debating her over a second copy of Linkaribo.
I don't think you ever need more than one. He can bring himself back.
That's fair.
And Sylvan Princess Sprite, you can detach one Xyz material, excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a spell or trap, add it to your hand, otherwise send it to the grave. Her other
And that
effect involves
is
plant monsters, which doesn't matter, but that first one is to check for more Purrely memories.
right, and that's about 60% of the deck right there.
Yep.
Okay. Not a bad call, I suppose.
Only running one happiness because, uh, unfortunately, with Noir having an unaffected effect, that is just better than happiness's battle phase extra damage.
Yeah. I was going to say X Happiness is if you just want to close the game out, but you're right. I think X Noir is the preferred card. I just realized there isn't a rank 2 dark one, is there?
No, not yet. That came out later, which is the one for Sleepy Memory.
Okay. Alrighty.
Uh,
Alright. So, weird take here. I like the deck, but I don't like it at the same time.
well, what don't you like?
going back to how tier elements would play on your opponent's turn, these last few days just playing with Purrely, I've done a bit of that, and it's just like, wait a second. I'm doing exactly what tier elements does that I don't like about them. Am I better than them? I feel dirty doing this.
Well, you're not exactly playing on turn 0.
Okay, that's you're not wrong there, but still just playing solitaire on your opponent's turn. It's like Flu 2.0 in a way.
Hmm.
So that's the only real thing that I don't like about it. That said, it is a very active deck. The other thing that made me think about tier elements, I know with a bunch of your watch and plays, I think that the best counter to tier element is the timer. I started running into a bit of that yesterday when I was practicing.
I've also had that problem where just trying to figure out what memories to put on and trying to make the biggest X Pirelli and then realizing, oh, I've got 60 seconds left.
Well, it's also like you get 4 different prompts during the standby phase alone, depending on how many like sleepy memories or whatever you have attached onto your plump.
Yeah,
So that said, I like it. It doesn't look like much at face value, but no, it like I said, it's fun. I just feel a little dirty playing it.
I don't feel dirty
So,
playing it, so I'm going to keep doing this.
fair enough.
Yeah.
What
X
about the other
Pirelli is the
decks?
actual boss monster of this deck.
Yes, Expurelli Noir. You mean?
Yes.
There we go. Because I was going to say they're both technically Purrely. I did kind of like how they inverted the uh, quote unquote prices of the cards. Because I was looking at Purrely on TCG Player, and of course, OG Purrely is the most expensive, well, one of the most expensive cards in the IRL deck. But what was the other one? Okay, I guess Mafia and Purrely, that was the other one that's a bit on the pricey side, and that one's a UR. But no, I felt like yeah, I shouldn't be surprised saying as it's Master Duel, but this is a lot cheaper than actually getting the real deck right now.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I didn't bite the bullet and get Pirelli in real life because I expected it to be easier to do it online. And even
Hmm.
then, like, they have what, 4 URs and you don't need 3 ofs for all of them.
Exactly, and honestly, that was a big part of why I went with this. Because with my pools with 10,000 gems, I think I got 6 Purelli Ultra Rares and 3 Mekanko Ultra Rares,
Yeah,
and then the
looking,
Galaxy stuff.
mine was with 9,000 gems. I got, and I'm pretty sure I also took them apart. I think I may have gotten 7 Makonko URs, and I
Hmm.
actually didn't get any X Pirelli Noirs. I had to craft that.
Okay. Yeah, that was actually the only thing I had to craft. I crafted 1 extra copy of Noir, but that aside, I had everything I needed.
Yeah,
So, that said, we kind of touched on it a little earlier. Galaxy Eyes got support. I mean, I understand them doing the whole legacy support for anime stuff. I don't think it needed it. It was already in an OTK deck. What really does the new number 62 bring to the table?
unaffected by opponent's monsters. Gets bigger without needing to activate an effect.
So it's just win more when you're already going to be swinging for game?
Yes. Although I do think unaffected by monster effects is helpful for a battle phase monster.
That's fair. And don't get me wrong, it's not a bad monster. It's just my brain's going, all right, we've seen Galaxy Eyes before. We all. Where would you say that Galaxy Eyes was really the most prevalent? Maybe down in Silver or Gold a few months back?
Yeah, I know I did a video with them over a year ago,
That's
and
right. That was the deck that you dismantled.
yeah, it's fun to do a big punch and win in one swing. It's
Hmm.
not consistent because it's a battle phase deck that
Right.
requires a lot of work to get going. And like You know me, Amazonas is a deck that I love, and it's a battle phase deck, but that one has a lot more paths you can go.
Right. The Galaxy is very linear.
Yeah, Galaxy is get
Okay,
to
I
number
guess.
62 and get Afterglow on it. If you don't do that, you're not winning.
Well, I guess at this point it's just like, which number 62 do you want to go with? But even then,
I
nah.
wager they'd go for the first one, then if it doesn't win, then you go into C62.
Right. I guess it is something a little different, but it's not different enough that I was interested in it.
The question do become, though, is Galaxy Eyes better than Blue Eyes?
Well, if it's unaffected by your opponent's card effects, I guess it gets around Jet Dragon, doesn't it?
That is true, and it is inherently bigger.
Bigger. I guess that's the other thing with Blue Eyes, really. Blue Eyes, it's funnily enough a swarming deck because you're attacking with at least three 3K beat sticks. With with Blue Eyes, you hit with three beat sticks. With Galaxy Eyes, you're making one beat stick to hit really hard with.
Something that's a little annoying to me, but I do understand, is the amount of these battle phase monsters that have effects of they gain attacks on monsters during the battle phase versus just more attacks.
Right. Actually, wasn't that the effect of the original Neo Galaxy Eyes?
Let me check.
I think if for some reason I'm thinking if it had the original Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon on it.
No, it just can attack that many times.
Okay. Once per turn.
But,
Man, that really shows its age there.
yep.
I know it was part of the anime with Kaito being a numbers hunter and everything there, but cards that just focus on taking down one specific thing. I guess you could say that about the Mech Knights too.
I guess actually, if you want to do a technical read on Neo Galaxy as Photon Dragon, it can
Uh huh.
attack an amount of times equal to the amount of monsters your opponent had that detach one material, detach all materials from monsters your opponent controls, then gain 500 attack for each. Also, it can attack that many times. So it can attack an amount of times one plus the amount of Xyz monsters who had materials removed from your opponent's side of the field.
Okay. So, but yeah, it's still getting those multiple attacks in there.
Yeah. And also,
Actually,
Galaxy Eyes is kind of crowded for extra deck stuff with all the
I
different ones that
agree.
are detach a unit to pop a thing. Like, I think Full Armor, and there's another one that have that exact effect.
Right. No, that's
Cypher's
fair.
neat, but Cypher is the worst form of Galaxy, which says a lot.
Yeah. Although they do have that little neat ability to keep ranking up into each other.
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of fun. What was the other? But yeah, galaxies. I think we've spent enough time there. That's it. I was kind of half wondering to myself when I was bringing up the whole numbers hunter bit. Wait a second. We had that back in 5Ds also with the Mech Lords. So which is the better deck, Galaxy Eyes or Mech Lords?
I'm going to say
um,
Galaxy because I don't know anyone that plays Mech Lords.
that's fair. There wasn't anything like an anti-pendulum or anti-link, was there?
I
No.
don't think so. I think at that point they may have acknowledged that making an anti-mechanic archetype never worked because if you make it stronger than a mechanic, then it's too strong, and so they just always made them too weak.
Right. And I guess at this point we're just touching on anti-extra deck stuff like Dogmatica and I'll even say Flunderies will do that to an extent.
Yeah,
Necros. So, yeah, there's no point. Sorry. Doesn't make sense to make an archetype that singles out a specific type when you can just throw a blanket over the extra deck and say, nope.
yeah. That being said, stay tuned for the Blue Eyes versus Galaxy Eyes showdown coming someday.
And then what was the other archetype that was introduced in this set?
It was just the three. There was Purrely, Galaxy God add-ons, and Makanko.
Makanko, that was it.
Makanko's looks neat.
The issue is it's a ritual deck that uses equip monsters.
Yeah,
So one, all your crafting for your URs, it's going to be in the main deck, which you do need. Um,
I heard
Two,
Makonko did pretty well though.
really?
Yeah, I thought I heard it was making a little bit of an impact.
I have trouble seeing how because it has two inherent issues to it. One, its boss is a ritual monster, which, unless your name is Necroz, and even then that deck's past its prime. How many ritual decks are faring well? I mean, you could make an argument that Dogmatica is a ritual deck, but no one's playing the rituals. No one's even playing pure Dogmatica.
Yeah,
So you're using your own resources to pull something from your deck rather than an extra deck then. And two, you're using equip cards, so have it help you if back row removal rolls around. I mean, I guess that's a little easier to get around in a best of one game like Master Duel, but still.
yeah,
And if you went to a tournament or something and someone sideboarded in their Cosmic Cyclones or Feather Dusters, then, well, you're screwed then.
yeah.
So don't get me wrong, aesthetically, it's kind of neat. Weirdly enough, it kind of gives me like either uh, what were they called? Witchcrafter or uh, what was the other one? Familiar Possessed vibes,
Yeah, a little bit.
just with the different attributes all thrown throughout the deck.
I can see the comparison.
Mhm. If I'm remembering correctly, Amika is a priestess, and throwing a ko on the end, that's like priestess princess, is basically what the deck translates to, if I'm remembering correctly.
Ah, finally, an archetype for the Toho fans.
Wasn't that what Sky Strikers is? I don't know what Toho is, so I'm just spitballing there.
I don't know. All I know is they're still around
Fair enough.
somewhere.
And it's not the Toho that makes Godzilla. It's the
No,
other
they already got their
Toho.
thing.
Yes, they do. I
Anyway,
like
give
the
them
Warner
more.
Bros. Of Japan. Fair enough.
And that's slanderous talk about Godzilla comparing them to Marvel. Godzilla's consistent.
That's.
Every Godzilla movie is the best movie ever made.
I was gonna say Godzilla. I would actually say isn't consistent, but it's in its inconsistency. It's great.
Yeah, Godzilla's always good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're part of that audience,
If you're not,
off top.
you're a coward. What do you have wrong with the big lizard that shoot a laser?
Oh, dude, back when that King of the Monsters film came out in 2019, I had a coworker say, "Hey, I know you like this Godzilla stuff. I'm sorry about it." It's just like, why? What's wrong with it?" He says, "Well, the reviews say it all sucks." But it's like, I watched the movie. Like you said, I saw the lizard shooting lasers. I enjoyed myself. There's nothing to apologize for.
Yeah, Western audiences don't know what makes a good movie.
True that.
I'm
That's why
sorry.
anime is
Does your
going to
movie
take
not
over the
have
world.
a 180-foot lizard shooting a laser? No, bad movie.
True that.
Did they make a robot about the lizard that also shoots a laser and rockets? No, bad movie.
That said, I think we're overdue for new kaiju cards.
Oh, absolutely, we are.
I was actually kind of surprised they didn't do anything like King Kong or like Rodan oriented. I mean, you have this huge pool to go into.
Uh, I was gonna say King Kong might be intruding a bit on Western stuff, but Godzilla fought King Kong.
Right.
Godzilla fought Frankenstein.
And that was actually the other thing that I was going to say. If you wanted to get a bit of a deep cut here, you could use the Gargantuans as a reference because that was sort of like his whole tangential Kong thing. Because originally it was going to be, what was it? I think it was going to be Godzilla. Sorry, Frankenstein versus King Kong, but then this copyright thing happened, so then that turned into the whole Frankenstein versus Baragon. Then out of that, the Gargantuans. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here. I like my Tokusatsu.
Yeah, it's fine. We don't really have anything that's directly Ultraman. I guess Utopia is a little bit Ultraman with his design.
I think they said that Radeon, the interdimensional kaiju
I know he's
was
an
a
Ultraman
reference.
villain, but not like a proper like Ultraman.
Right, right.
Like we have
Oh,
Dogeron and the Mecha Dogeron for Godzilla and Mecha Godzilla.
mm, yeah. I mean, gosh, if you wanted to touch Ultraman, I think that is a way deeper pull than whatever you want to get out of the Godzilla catalog. Then,
Well, I
'cause I'm
mean,
trying to.
they went to cook Among Us,
To be fair, he was in 4 different films.
right? As the C-list spiders who picked
I
on
mean,
baby Godzilla.
I'm just glad they never ate a Manila card. That
Galaxy Eyes
one we
Cloud
could.
Dragon.
That's fair. Wouldn't that be like Baby Space Godzilla then?
I heard they just came out with like I think it might have been like a one-off Space Godzilla comic.
Yeah, I saw some clips from that. Sorry, stills from that too.
Yeah, the Crystal King.
Uh huh.
That's neat. I like Space Godzilla. He's a dick.
Aesthetically, he is.
Shows up to your house, beats you up, steals your son, leaves. That was the movie that
I
made
guess
a
it did
big
take.
deal about shooting Godzilla in the armpit,
Yeah, that dude really just wanted to kill Godzilla there.
and he didn't,
Nope.
just like everyone else.
So the lesson is stop trying, just get out of the way. Don't piss off the big lizard.
Biolante was a
Uh,
good movie.
I liked it. It's just I don't have the same love for it that everyone else seems to have because everyone says that was peak Heisei era. It's just like yes, it's good, but it's not the worst Heisei movie. That one's gonna be Godzilla versus Mothra: Battle for Earth. But at the same time, I don't think it's best.
What era was Megaguirus?
That was the Millennium era.
I think that was the weakest of Millennium.
Oh yeah, actually, give me a second here. I want to see if I still have my list because back before Godzilla versus Kong came out, I watched through every Godzilla movie in sequential order and had ranked them. And I think versus Megaguirus was probably in the bottom 3 for me.
Where was 54?
54 is still my number 1.
I respect it.
I was gonna say just with the message it was trying to do at the time against the anti-nuclear era there and using this giant monster as an allegory for it, it taking itself 100% seriously, not treating the monster in a rubber suit as a joke or like a superhero or something like that. It was heavy, and honestly, that's kind of why I'm really, really looking forward to this -1 film that's coming out because that seems to be a return to form for that, kind of like what Shin was.
Do you have different rankings for the 54 original or versus the one where they put the white guy in it?
Was that Ray Stevenson?
I think that's the guy, yeah.
Yeah, that I did. I don't think that cracked the top 10 because it didn't take the subject matter as seriously as the Japanese version did. So when you're trying to take something that's super serious and you're not parodying it, you're just trying to lighten it up for more general audiences. That's when I start to be just like, I'm not liking that as much. It's not bad. It's just nowhere near as good. Where is this list at? So we got really far off of Yu-Gi-Oh here. Is there anything else we want to talk with about the
Not Ray
new
Stevenson,
stuff that
Raymond Burr.
Raymond Burr? Thank you, thank you. Funnily enough, though, so in Godzilla Returns or Godzilla 1984, there were 2 versions of that also. One was the Japanese version, and the other was the Raymond Burr version. I actually like the American Raymond Burr version of Godzilla 1984 more because it touches more on the Cold War aspect of things at that point.
Hmm.
Whereas in 84, Godzilla Returned. Yes, there were
We get to
aspects
the
of
moon and Godzilla's already there. He won the Cold War.
that was the space race. Get your things right.
They were related.
Kind of, not
You can't
exactly.
say America's Cold War with Russia is not connected to the space race America had with Russia.
Okay, fine. Yes, you are correct. If not
Sounds
for the
like you're a
Cold War,
Kremlin plant to me. How's the Kaiser doing?
Kaiser's dead, Jim.
Uh, I like
And if I
Atlantis.
and if I wanted to be a Soviet apologist, which I'm not, they technically had the first man in space.
I thought it was a woman.
No, shoot, it was Yuri something or other.
Kierkegaard?
That sounds right. I'm kicking myself. I was doing research on this when I was working on my kid's astronaut costume. But yeah, he reached low orbit, hung around there for a little bit.
Yuri Gagarin.
Thank you. There it is. And then he came back down. I think he saw the first people he saw when he came down was like a farmer and his daughter. He's just like, "Hi, I'm a Russian like you. May I borrow your phone? I need to call the Kremlin or something to that nature."
Gets back. Oh, you guys are still here.
New Cosmos stuff when
Never. We've tapped
Aw,
out both of those franchises
that is fair.
unless they feel like doing something with the remakes or not the remakes, the sequels and the prequels.
You mean like Wicked and all that?
Uh,
Oh, you're thinking the Star Wars side of things. I'm thinking the Wizard of Oz side of things.
I mean, Wizard of Oz had stuff beyond just the Dorothy movie.
Right, which is where I brought up Wicked. What was the other one? Son of the Witch.
Well, those are the books by Gregory Maguire. I'm talking about like Return to Oz, which apparently was nightmare fuel.
I remember seeing that VHS case back at Blockbuster, and yeah, that freaked me out. It's just like these are not the fun, colorful characters that I remember watching on the tube back in the day. What happened?
They always remind me a little bit of the villains from Power Rangers Turbo, like the Clockwork Dudes.
You're right. Was it a Tim Burton film? Because it really felt like it.
I don't think it was him. Welcome to the Mass Media podcast.
Yeah, really. Like I said, we rolled off that Yu-Gi-Oh train a while ago.
That's a short one. Return to Oz. IMDb. Who's responsible for this? Directed by Walter Murch.
Name doesn't ring a bell. Who
Written
was it
by
written by?
Walter Murch, Gil Dennis, and L. Frank Baum. That name's kind of familiar.
I can't place it.
Let me click on that name. Hang on a second.
What?
There's no way.
What?
Well, I clicked on L. Frank Baum, and the immediate thing that started playing is a trailer for The Muppets Wizard of Oz. So I'm worried. Hang on a second. L. Frank Baum, 1856 to 1919. Is he just the guy that wrote Wizard of Oz? Yes, he is. Why'd you give him credits for your abomination?
Because he's technically the one who got the ball rolling.
Just cause I don't think we write Shakespeare's name on the writing credits for every Shakespeare.
No, no,
Also,
we don't.
hang on. Did he actually write Return to Oz? Yes, he did. Wait, no. All right, I'm going to. L. Frank Baum, 1856 to 1919. Known for writing credits on 1939's Wizard of Oz and 1985's Return to Oz. He's been dead for years.
Dude, you're getting way too hung up on this. It's hilarious.
Like, put it like his shit has to be public domain. You can't keep adding him onto things. Can I credit him on my shit? There. This stream is brought to you by L. Frank Baum.
You see his name written in the. Well, if Konami did credit their artist, he'd be credited on the Cosmo cards.
Oh, God knows they'll never do that. No, no, no. All right, no. I'm looking down now. He's received writing credits for a show in 2023.
2023's almost three. No, it is 3/4 over.
Right. He is writing credits for one episode of Parlez-moi de vous.
This feels like a completely different rabbit trail to go down.
He
But I
has a
wonder if there's
writing
like.
credit for Little Santa's Book Club, The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, Part 2.
That's a credit. Oh boy, you sound like you're gonna be finding this guy's grave and digging him up.
Well, I'm pretty sure if I do, it'll be empty because apparently he's in a writing room somewhere. Fucking hell. All right, this has to end. You've all watched us play Purrely. You've watched us talk about Godzilla. Make your own opinions. I'm gonna kill
Have an
Hollywood.
aneurysm.
Yes. Oh god. Support the
Thanks,
strikes.
everyone.
We need new ideas in Hollywood. They're they've got his brain in a jar somewhere and they just slap it around every year or so.
Put him in like a mechanical body, like oh dude,
Like,
you know what? I think it was just called the Brain in Teen Titans, wasn't it?
oh yeah, him. Oh, I thought you were gonna do
Yeah.
like a Futurama like head in a jar thing, like when Reagan re-ran for president with a robot body.
No, 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 no. I mean, just like literally the brain, leave the body behind. What else do you want? He
Yeah.
sounds like a Mister Speak and Spell.
They gave him a much more natural sounding voice in the Doom Patrol show.
I was gonna say he actually had an episode where he appeared in My Adventures with Superman, also, and he had a German accent.
Um, yeah, I think he's German. That sounds like something comics would do for an evil scientist.
And he's in love with a French gorilla.
They did that in Doom Patrol too.
Well, they're keeping that ball rolling there.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Doom Patrol, keep it weird and progressive.
Fair enough. My Adventures with Superman, just keep it good.
Yeah, I need to watch.
Lois is not Amber. Everyone shut up about that.
Yeah, I need to watch more of that. I only watched the first episode so far.
Wife and I have been watching it every Friday. We like it.
Hey, is it still going or did it end for the season?
I think a new episode came out. Last time I watched the newest, my newest episode was last week because my wife's out of town right now. We didn't watch the one yesterday. But it seems like they're setting up, if I would speculate, both Brainiac and Zod.
Huh. That's weird, but understandable.
I mean, Brainiac's basically Kryptonian Skynet, so
Yeah,
makes sense.
and Zod is what they keep coming back to.
Funnily enough, they didn't do that in the animated version.
Well, in the
I
animated
mean, like
version,
the
they did stuff like Try.
try, I'm drawing a blank on try.
Try, it's a verb for putting in effort.
Oh no, when I say animated version, I mean like the Justice League animated universe.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Back when they, did writing and effort and storytelling.
Fair enough. I like the animated films well enough.
Uh, they're not
Okay, let me.
bad.
They're hit or miss. I would say that arguably, and I know what you're going to say here. Superman versus the Elite is the best Superman film,
The
but
best Superman
then
film is Iron Giant.
is
The
Iron
second
Giant.
best
Yes, I
film,
knew you were going to say that.
the second best film is Superman versus the Elite.
Fine. I don't disagree with that.
Yep.
So, all right, we done talking about culture, pop
Yeah.
culture, that is.
Back to degeneracy. Yu-Gi-Oh. Play the game or don't. I'm not your boss.
Read the cards. Don't be that guy.
I think that covers everything.
I think so too. I mean, Purrely was probably the biggest thing of this new set, so
Yeah, it's definitely what I was waiting for.
yeah. That said, I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. I'm
Really?
kind of leaning. Well, the only reason why I'm thinking of holding on to it is because I know it's going to be the meta contender.
You can also
It'll
hold
be.
on to it for an XZ's Fest.
That is true.
We've had like
That
3
is
of them
true.
already.
Right. But like I said, just with how the turns were going, it's just like I feel like I'm doing exactly what I get on the case of cash players about. Sorry, tier limit players about, and I don't know how I feel about that. So we'll see.
Hmm.
All right. Two things here. One, we did finish One Piece this week.
Awesome.
Yes, it was very good. Um, there were actually 3 scenes that made Sophia cry. Could you take a guess at them?
Do we want to talk about this off stream, or you just want to read your whole wife's emotional history for the
I
internet?
thought we were off the stream. I'm sorry.
No, it's still
Ignore what I
going. I didn't
said.
say bye,
Ignore
everyone.
me! Editor!
I don't have an editor. This is staying in.
All right,
It
that's on
humanizes
me.
us for the audience.
That it does. That it does.
Like one of those sick freaks with the high pitched voice edits or just all the other weird toddler bait stuff that they put in their videos that I hate.
That's true. Well, if we're still on here, do we want to talk about One Piece at all?
No, we'll do it off stream.
Okay.
Sorry, One Piece fans. I'll do something for you guys in the future. I never finished playing One Piece Odyssey. I should do that or restart it. One of the two.
That was like a year ago.
That wasn't a year ago. That was this year.
Was it?
Yeah.
More you know.
If things were loading, I'd be able to look for. This is all loading terribly slowly. Playlist. Oh, stop that. That was like 7 months ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they had DLC come out for it. So, a lot.
There you go. It's been a while since you've played the Breakers, also.
Yeah, that game got a lot less popular, and so waiting for matches took forever, so it stopped being entertaining for me to try and vamp for 3 minutes between matches.
Hmm. Fair enough. And yet,
Anyway,
Master Duel's still kicking strong.
yeah, Master Duel's never
Weird.
going to die. Also, Master Duel's UI and load times are way better than MTG Arenas, so take that, wizards. Stop hiring the Pinkertons, you fucks.
But good call.
Also, Wizards of the Coast also apparently used someone who used AI art for one of their latest books, so that's not great either.
I heard about that, and that was a pretty big stink.
Yeah, because there was like, oh, we didn't know they were doing that. I'm like, yeah, sure, I believe you. Fuck off.
And I hate to say it, AI is taking over a lot of stuff. It makes me wonder how things are going to look in about 5 years.
So don't you worry. I'll take care of it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm not doing this for you. It's mostly for me. But most of all, I'm doing this for America.
America. Mhm.
Anyway, we vamped long enough. I'm going to end the stream now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.